On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel's changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Not anymore. With FanDuel's Super Sub, if your player's subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
21 plus select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus DCKYWY. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050. Massachusetts. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 877-770-7867. Louisiana.
Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, let's go to Maine.
Absolutely. A huge night there. Graham Plattner proceeds, and he won handily. Joining us now to talk about what's in the water in Maine.
Yesterday, Sean Spicer says if he gets less than 80%.
And he did.
He's not really... Democrats really didn't like him.
Not a full
let's
stamp,
go to GOP chairman.
Yep, absolutely. Great point. Let's go to Jim Deyermond. He is the Maine GOP chair. Jim, what happened there? And first, what do you make of Graham Plattner? And he came out swinging last night. When he came out, he was going after Susan Collins, Trump, but he didn't get the 80%, to John's point.
No, thanks for having me on. But I tell you, if you see him coming out swinging, if you're a female, you need to duck. With his history,
good point.
His history is horrible, and I hate to say this to my good friends in New York, but unfortunately, you bear some of the blame up here with Chuck Schumer and AOC backing this guy and recruiting him.
You know, Jim, it's disgusting to see. I'll tell you, as a woman, and I think everybody should be offended by this guy. I mean, the comments he made about women, if they got raped, basically they should just kind of act like adults. The women who've accused him, that one, of course, the former ex-girlfriend for 3 years, says he was very physical with her. I mean, it's frightening to hear this. And you're right. And then what he said about African Americans and gays and veterans, the list goes on and on. How is this the best that the Democratic Party has? It's a disgrace.
Well, a regular old-time Democrat can no longer get elected up here, just like many areas of the country. And they have really gone deep socialist. And to this guy who actually brags about being a communist as well. So he is up against Susan Collins, and a lot of people wish she would be a little bit more MAGA, a little bit more hardcore, but she has to get elected in Maine where Republicans are slightly outnumbered from Democrats. But she is a ferocious campaigner. She may look like a delicate wallflower, but Susan Collins has had many, many races where she's been behind in the polls, and then election day or election night, she's getting crowned, and I believe it's going to happen again. The last time she ran for office, election day, she was behind she was behind several points, maybe almost 10. And when the ballots were all counted, she kicked butt and she beat their opponent by 9 points. And I think that's what's going to happen again. But the opponent back then didn't have the history that this guy has. I mean, he is the gift that keeps on giving to us, and you almost feel like you can't say everything every day, the new stories that come out. You got to temper them a little bit because people are starting to get shell-shocked, I think. But I think there's a lot worse coming out. This is not the least of it, but it's sickening, disgusting. And even John Fetterman had the greatest line, I thought. He said, he's lied to America. Being a dirtbag is not authentic. Being a dirtbag is just being a dirtbag, and Graham Plattner is a dirtbag.
Now, our friend Jonathan Bush, a member of the Bush family, didn't come out too well. What happened with Jonathan Bush?
Well, we had, finally election night, we had 7 Republicans running for governor. So there's a lot of people to split the vote up. And Jonathan came out of the back of the pack. And you got to remember, up here in Maine, unfortunately, we're stuck with is a horrible thing called ranked choice voting. So our winners in the gubernatorial race still haven't been picked yet. They have to go through another cycle of mashing the vote.
I didn't realize that. We didn't realize that. Thanks for telling us that.
It's ranked choice. I'm actually right.
He still has a shot. He's still in the top 3.
Oh, that's
so the top 3 are going to be running?
Yeah, I was just looking at it. It's ranked choice, right?
Another ranking, and they go through several rankings until they find someone who gets 51% of the vote.
And New Yorkers got screwed on that with the mayor's race.
That's how Montgomery came in.
I mean, some of our old friends from the Reform Party were pushing that.
It's incredible. But, if anyone ever tries to jam ranked choice voting down your throat, stand up and fight like
it is the worst.
Crazy.
Is it dumber than dumb?
It is. It's a Democratic ploy, but I think this particular case, they had 3 or 4 candidates running, and they may their golden candidate may not come out of the pack. They may be the victim of their own mess.
Wow.
By the way, and I know obviously you're on the Republican side, but have you heard any grumblings, Jim, about, there was always this story that depending how he did, obviously he won Graham Plattner, but there's still, Maine has some interesting stuff, as you know, where like 2 weeks, they can replace him out. They could do a Kamala Harris and put somebody else in there, right, on the Democratic side?
Yeah, but the problem is the other people have, they only have a certain amount of candidates, and they keep going to the well to reuse them. But those people are tied up in other races right now. So it would be pretty tough. And Maine, I'm sorry to say, like New York, the Democrats, they don't have a break. Once they put their mind to something, they're going to go forward. They're not going to pull up short. They're going to go on. And, when the spotlight shines on them, what do? They double down. They're going to double down with Graham Plattner and ride that donkey to the end.
Well, thank you, Jim Deyermond. Thank you from GOP Chairman of Maine. Thank you for coming on and stay in touch with us. By the way, I love Susan Collins, and I was an old big supporter of Olympia Snow in those days, and we need some common sense in Maine, and please try to maintain common sense.
Thank you, Jim.
I will. We're fighting hard here, and people just got to understand he brings a lot of bad publicity to Maine, and that's not the way Maine is. Unfortunately, there's a district along the coast because of the way the last elections were run. The southern coastline of Maine is heavily Democratic, but when you get 10 miles away from the ocean in Maine, it's hardcore Republican country. Problem is there just aren't that many people in Maine. It's pretty sparse as you get away from the ocean.
But it's a beautiful state. Thank you.
Thank you
Jim.
so much. Stay in touch.
Thank you. I love being on with you folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One summer moment can change a child's life. Through Toys for Tots Give and Go initiative, your support provides books, games, toys, and outdoor adventures that spark curiosity, creativity, and a love of nature. Whether it's fishing, learning a new sport, reading under a tree, or playing with friends, these moments build confidence and lifelong memories. For too many children, those moments never come. You can help change that this summer. Visit toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots, delivering hope beyond the holidays.